Hello, welcome back. Here we are a couple of days later. Did a wee bit of work yesterday, but I'd forgotten to put the SD card back in the camera, so I couldn't actually film anything yesterday. So what I've done is I've gone over some of these welds again, because they weren't particularly good in places. It's quite tricky to get up in here and do it from underneath. See what you're doing with limited access, so kind of had a wee examine of it after yesterday and found a couple of spots where it wasn't quite right, so kind of gone over it again and we have a pretty solid piece of metal there now. So next is making the plate that's going to go in on top of that, or rather underneath it, because yeah, it's that's the bit on top. Anyway, yeah, I'll cut now and show you that when I've got it made. Okay, here we go. That's my template made up. It's a pretty decent fit. I'm going to have to adjust one of the edges. It's not quite meeting this edge here. So we'll add a few millimeters. You can see it a bit better there. It's a bit of a gap that needs to come right up against the edge in metal, so we'll add about 8 to 10 mils to that edge, but otherwise kind of pretty close around here, close enough that if we transfer this into metal that any wee gaps will be able to fill up with the weld. We've got a decent enough sort of shape around here that hopefully our strut top will go back in, or like strut mount. If not, we'll just grind it back a bit until it does. So right, let's get that transferred into metal and see what it looks like. Right, here we've got the plate kind of made. When I say kind of made, it's still a work in progress. It doesn't quite fit in all the right places, but what we do is just, I've got it held in place by this one self-drilling screw here. It seems to more or less fit up here, a bit of a gap here, but that'll fill with weld. It butts up pretty well against the edge up here. And we've still got a wee bit of adjustment to do around here to make that fit. And once we've got that done, we'll start drilling a load of plug weld holes over here. And on this side, I'm going to drill the holes in through the strut top tower itself inside the cab, because it's a lot easier to weld with gravity on your side than fighting against it, which we're going to have to do over here because there's really no much access up next to the bulkhead there in the cab. It's really quite tricky to get in there, so we'll weld this from the underside, but where we've got access here we might as well do it from the cab. Anyway, right, I'm going to unscrew this from where it's at and do a bit more adjusting, and I'll probably take another wee clip when it's all fitting nicely. Alright, here we have it. That fits pretty well now. I've got a couple of those self-drilling tech screws holding it in place. Try to put another one in the corner there, but I think I'm hitting one of the welds and the screw won't go in, so I'll put a wee pilot drill hole in there, screw it in place. I think basically all we need to do now really is a little bit of final adjustment, clean up all the edges, get all of this under seal away, get up inside here. There's some seam sealant in there. That's really important to get that out, because once we weld it, if it's in place, then the welding's going to set it on fire, and we really don't want that. This workshop is due for demolition, but I'd rather not burn it down first with my van in it. plus my friend's car, which is trapped behind us here. So yeah, next job, just clean up all this. Make our plug weld holes on here, and on this side we're going to do them inside the cab, obviously. Yeah, and then weld it in place, and job's a good one. Looking a whole lot better than it was a few days ago. I'm sure you'll agree. It'll look even better when it's welded in place. Alright, that'll do for now. Bye now.